Now we are going to introduce two important concepts related with the antenna. It's the length of the antenna. And there are two types of lengths, the physical length and the electrical length. In order to understand easily what is the meaning of the gain of the antenna, we are going to picture the flashlight. You remember the flashlight? When you focus the flashlight, exactly the flashlight that you have on the screen, when you try to focus the beam of the light, when you move it, when you adjust the focus, you increase or decrease the gain. The typical VHF radio have 25 watts of output power. You remember? If applied to an antenna having a gain of 0, the power output from the antenna will be 25. Because no loss, no gain. If you have 0 decibel, the output power is exactly the same like the input power, 25 watts, if it's 0 decibels. What happens if the gain is 3 decibels? If the gain is 3 decibels, then the output is 50 watts. It's 50 watts. It's double. Line of sight distance. This is an important calculation. How much is the maximum distance that I have? Of course, depend of how is located my antenna on my boat and where is located the tower on the radio station. Of course, this is as simple because the line of sight of the higher antenna is greater. There is a mathematical formula that can be used in order to calculate the line of sight distance. The distance is equal to the square root of 1.42 times the antenna height in meters. This unit is in meters. Okay, and that distance is in kilometers. If the boat have a 12 feet antenna, the distance to horizon is approximated 4.2 miles. If the boat have an antenna of 18 feet, located at 18 feet, the distance to the horizon is approximated 5 miles. The distance, the antenna on the tower, the distance to the horizon is approximated 12 miles. Don't forget that if space is the limitation, you can use one antenna and you use a splitter, like the splitter that you have on the screen. The recommendation is install one antenna and split the signal with the splitter that you have on the screen. And of course you can use two radios with one antenna. One radio in the pilot helm, like the screen, and other radio in the fly bridge. Both of them using the same antenna. Why this is recommended? Because normally you use one radio at the same time. If your boat doesn't have a bonding system, your boat is not protected. If you are working in a boat with no bonding system, the first step, yours like engineers, is recommend to the customer install a good bonding system. This is the first step, and I recommend install and create a good bonding system. My friends, in the composite material of the antenna, a lot of static electricity is accumulated, especially during the storms, during the hurricanes. This is an isolator, but around the isolator a lot of static electricity is accumulated. That excessive amount of static electricity accumulated on the pole should be drained to the grounding plate, and the grounding plate into the bonding system, and the bonding system into the sink. If you drain constantly that excessive amount of static electricity, the transmission is excellent. The communication is better. It's simple. The antenna cable should be routed, separated from lighting conductors. You remember the lighting conductor connected to the lighting plate? Okay. That conductor should be separated from the VHF cables. And the VHF cables should be also separated from the AC power cables. Completely separated from the AC power cables. No close. In order to avoid interference. Install the VHF antenna cable separated from the GPS antenna in opposite starboard side and port side. The antenna cable should be separated from AC cables and from lighting protection cables, of course, and in my opinion also separated from DC cables because produce too much interference, especially if those cables are dedicated for electronics equipment. All right. And the power can be increased, the output radiated power, when you increase the gain. More gain, more output power. 0 decibels is 25 watts. 6 decibels, 50 watts. 3 decibels, 50. 6 decibels, 90, 100, and 9 decibels, 200 watts. This is the gain and the recommendations about the location. Always try to connect the bottom of the antenna, the plane, connected to a good bonding or grounding plane, and that plane connected to the bonding system. This is mandatory, is recommended.